Welcome to the Child Care Director's Chair, the podcast for bold educators who are ready to lead, grow, and shake things up in early childhood education. Whether you're a teacher eyeing that lead role, a lead stepping into leadership, or a center owner dreaming big, this is your space to grow with purpose and leave your mark. Hosted by heart-centered leadership coach Erica Saccoccio, each episode brings you real talk, actionable tools, and a contagious laugh or two, all designed to help you step into your next level with confidence. So pour your coffee, pop in those earbuds, and take your seat, because your leadership journey starts right now in the Child Care Director's Chair.
Welcome back to your daily dose of child care leadership with the Child Care Director's Chair podcast. I'm your host, Erica Saccoccio, and I like to say welcome to the show. Let me start with this question. Are you leading your program with clarity, or are you guessing your way through it? Because if you are like most child care directors, you're making decisions every day based on a feeling. Whether you're feeling like your center's full, you're thinking things are okay, or you're hoping that the staffing holds itself together. But honey, hope is not leadership, and it's certainly not a strategy. And today we're talking about something that most directors were never trained on, but absolutely must understand. And that's your numbers. Not just your financial reports, not just spreadsheets. I'm talking about real data that tells you whether your program is stable, sustainable, and actually healthy. What the numbers mean? Well, let's define this clearly. In childcare leadership, your numbers are measurable indicators of your program's health. They tell you how full your program really is, whether staffing is sustainable or stretched too thin, if your pricing actually supports your costs, whether enrollment is stable or inconsistent, and if turnover is becoming a pattern, or if your systems are working or if they're breaking. Here's the simplest way to think about it. Your numbers are your program speaking to you. If you're not looking at them, you are not leading without feedback. Most directors really struggle with numbers, and honestly, because you weren't trained for that part of leadership. Sure, you were trained in child development, curriculum, relationships, care and safety, but not enrollment trends or labor cost analysis. Like, what is that? Or capacity utilization, financial stability, or retention data. So what happens? Well, most of us are leading based on emotion instead of information. Like we're saying, well, I feel like we're full, or we think we're okay, or we hope things balance out. But leadership cannot run on guessing. And the core numbers that every director must know, and you do not need to be an accountant, let me tell you, but you do need to understand these 5 core indicators. Number 1 is enrollment. How many children are enrolled, and how stable is that enrollment? Second, you have to understand the difference between capacity and utilization, and the difference of what you can serve and what you are actually serving. And staffing ratios, reality versus licensing minimums, not just compliance, but what is actually sustainable. Because you got to think about it. Just because they say that's the minimum ratio doesn't mean your program can really operate it at high quality with that number of staff. You also have to know your labor cost percentage. How much of your revenue is going directly into staffing? And I can tell you right now, for most programs, it is much higher percent than what is recommended. And then your turnover rate. How often are staff leaving, and what that says about your leadership and your systems. What to do when you know your numbers? Well, this is where leadership actually changes, because knowing your numbers is not enough. You have to know what to do with them. So step number 1, pick one number. Do not try to fix everything. Choose one area that feels unclear or unstable, whether it's enrollment, staffing, turnover, or your overhead costs, and then stay there. Step number 2, look for patterns. Do not react in one moment. Look for trends over time. And maybe ask questions like, is this happening repeatedly, or is this just seasonal? Like right now, we're wrapping up the end of the school year in many places. For us, it ends in about 3 weeks. And if you're a preschool program, you may have a lot of families leaving at the end of the next couple of weeks. And now the question is, do you have a summer camp program? Do you have a dip in enrollment? Have you planned for that? Or now are you scrambling because now you're down 12 spots? And if you are, maybe it's a system issue. You see, leadership is about patterns, not panic. So step number 3 is ask the system question. Instead of asking, what did someone do wrong? Ask, what system is creating this result? Because people create moments and systems create patterns. And number 4, identify the system that needs to exist. So let's just translate the problem into something simple in a structure. Like, here's some examples. If you have an enrollment issue, that means you need to look at your tour or your follow-up system. If you have a turnover issue, you need to look at your onboarding or your coaching system. If you have a staffing issue, you need to look at your scheduling system. Also, if you have a cost issue, you need to look at your budgeting system. And if you have to fix the systems, not the symptoms. So that's what we typically do. We we pay one bill, as they say, steal from Peter to pay Paul, right? We shouldn't be doing that. We need to have a budget. We need to know what's coming in, what's going out, and plan for it. And step number 5, make one small improvement. Do not try to overhaul everything. Just improve one system. One small consistency builds stability. And then step 6, review weekly. Ask yourself, is this area improving? Is this reducing stress? Is this creating clarity? Leadership is ongoing, not a one-time deal. So in closing thoughts, here's what I want to say. Your numbers, if they're not where you need them to be, right? You don't want them to overwhelm you. And that's not why they're there. Your numbers are not really there to overwhelm you. They're there to guide you because you cannot lead what you cannot see. And you cannot improve what you are not willing to measure. So tomorrow on the Child Care Director's Chair podcast, we're going to continue with the whole leadership series with a conversation about why good programs still lose money and what most directors are missing about financial leadership. And if this episode helped you, share it with another director who's ready to stop guessing and start leading with clarity. And if you're ready to grow your leadership, come join us inside the Child Care Director's Chair membership community. We're building leaders, not just managers. And always remember, you've got this. So until then, we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.
That's a wrap for this episode of the Child Care Director's Chair, where we believe leaders aren't born, they're grown. If something sparked for you today, share it, shout it out, or pass it along to the next bold changemaker in childcare. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and stay connected with Erica Saccoccio for more real talk leadership tools and a whole lot of inspiration. Until next time, lead with heart, grow with fire, and always remember, the chair is yours. Now own it.